Hey guys, we're here with William Byron in this episode of Around the Track. William is the driver of the number 24 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, car that I'm very familiar with. William, these days kids more and more starting racing when they're 5 and 6 years old, and quarter midgets, go-karts, but not you. You kind of came into racing in an untraditional way through iRacing.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me how that came about and then how that led to you being actually out there on the track physically.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, iRacing for me was my way to get involved in racing. I was watching races on TV every weekend, going and learning about them at the racetrack and seeing the cars. And so iRacing was just a chance for me to race something and a chance to compete. And from there, it led to something a lot bigger in real cars. But at that point, I was just trying to have fun and trying to, I guess, get my start in driving.
So I'm curious to know how that iRacing and that gaming experience, how that transferred over. I mean, what did that teach you at a young age about what it was and how it compared to actually getting behind the wheel of a real car?
Yeah, it taught me how to race. I mean, it taught me how to race against guys that were real-life competitors. So there were some guys that were racing late models or truck series, and I was able to compete against them. And I was having some good success. I was winning a lot of races in that, and so honestly, that's what gave me the confidence to say, okay, maybe I can go out in the real world and get involved in a driving career. So I think it just led one thing after another, and then ultimately led to getting in a car for the first time.
Well, what's amazing to me is you got in that car for the first time and how fast you have progressed. I don't know anybody that's gotten in a car at, what were you, like 14 years old,
15.
And now you're going to be 21 this year, and you're in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
I mean, what has that been like to be able to progress so quick up through the ranks?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I didn't really expect to progress that quickly, but it naturally felt like the right progression. I mean, there were a couple levels of my racing career that it was a little questionable whether I was ready to move up to that or things like that, but I was able to step up and make that jump. So I think that was the transition from the legend cars to the late models, and then late models to the national series, like the truck series and things like that. And you know how it is, once you win some races and once you build that confidence, you belong. So it's all about, for me, trying to make sure I know I belong and perform in that way.
And what would you say has been the biggest challenge every time you went from, say, legend cars to a late model and then to the truck series, the Xfinity? Has it been kind of the same challenge, or has each one of them increased or been different?
It's been kind of the same challenge. I mean, the Cup Series is a huge new challenge in itself, but I think each step has been a different thing. But what I've learned in every step is that there's a lot of things that people say about it, but you have to understand it yourself, and you have to experience everything for the first time. And then also, it's still a race car. It still takes the same things to go fast and the same competitiveness. And, whether it's restarts, I've always had to do restarts. I've always had to do things like that, and you learn that each series.
William, thanks for letting us get to know you a little bit better. And make sure you guys stay tuned to the Around the Track page on axaltaracing.com or follow Axalta Racing on social media to watch part 2 of William's interview.